Hello everyone, Mark here. For our second episode talking about building this headless short scale 5-string bass, I got a number of clips there that I've taken actually at parts of that build process between that first episode and where I'm at now. But there were two things there that I missed in terms of remembering to film them. I don't have any footage of the body just after I'd kind of glued it together and it was just a straight rectangle blank to actually kind of cut the body out of. I don't know why I didn't film that bit, but it would have been really useful to see how that was just after gluing everything up. But I mean, you can see here from how that's ended up. What we've got here is, as discussed in that first episode, a Wenger piece down the neck along with a purple heart either side of it. And then we've got, for the main body, we've got sapele as the kind of wings of that. And here on the top of that, we have spalted maple. So if we're going to look at how we got from that rectangular body blank to how we have this guitar now, well, let's look at how that process occurred. Hey everyone, just wanted to catch this. I've spent quite a while actually just sorting things out, ready for creating the final template for the headless 5-string bass that I've been looking at. I've got the kind of neck here, and I've worked quite strongly on figuring out exactly what size of cutout that's going to need. That was a slightly earlier version, but the other one I've got is in the computer rather than on there. I've figured out exactly where the headless bridge pieces are going, and actually how that's working, and fitting all of that together for one kind of guitar shape. The other bit that I did, because I really wanted to kind of get, I've had challenges in the past with actually getting single bridge pieces to actually sit exactly where they're going. So I actually tested on this piece of basswood that I had left over from that engraved basswood guitar that I've got, to actually look at engraving just about just under 1 millimeter this has come out as. I need to test it on the wood that I'm actually going to use for the guitar to get the final power settings, but laser engraving it so that I've actually got them sitting exactly where I want them, with engraved slightly deeper, just a kind of 2mm hole for really for where I'm then going to drill for where the screws are going, really to get this very, very accurate. As I say, it may be of interest to other people that are doing some guitar building to see how I've gone about doing that, you know. And I've got written on here actually the power and speed settings and stuff for the laser engraver that I used there. Now, okay, so that's the template cut. It's actually just going to be a routing template in terms of how this one's used, but I took the opportunity to just mark out where the bass bridge pieces are going, where I'm going to have the recessed part so that you can access the tuning knobs, and obviously the neck pocket. Really just so that I could check that all looked right and was working, and kind of I've offered it all up to the various pieces before actually starting to mark it on what will be the body of the guitar, and starting to cut that. Hello everyone. Just thought this would be a good opportunity to just update on this project a little bit. I'm kind of just in the process of kind of setting up for routing the neck pocket and the piece where actually I'm going to kind of route that down so that people can access the headless tuners. Just sort of, kind of interesting. Getting this accurate is one of those things that's really worth taking the time over. So I've cut the templates from MDF. I spent quite a lot of time making fine adjustments to make sure they perfectly fitted the heel, in this case, of the neck that I'm using. and obviously very carefully marking out when I actually put the outline onto this body. I actually kind of fine engraved that with a laser engraver. And I did that and the bit for the tuners and that pocket at the back all at the same time so that they would all line up. And actually, I mean, despite the tape there, you can see on the corners actually where the neck pocket is. But it's still really important that I get as exact as possible in terms of that match of putting these on. So I've also taped this, kind of put a centre line down, etc, etc. So yeah, kind of it's progressing. So that's how we got to where we're at the moment. It's worth saying that it's just lovely having this kind of starting to really feel like it's coming together. It's lovely and tight neck pocket there. This will just, you know, kind of, you can, well, even only half in, you can kind of see how well that neck fits to it. Really feeling lovely and solid. There are a couple of bits after that, the bits that we talked about in the clips though, that are worth referring to. Now, as you saw there, I originally kind of laser engraved these areas for the bridge pieces to sit into. And actually, whilst doing that, I kind of cut myself like a template to use for kind of checking some of that out. This was really useful for checking how well things sat within it. And also this, because I put little 2mm holes in it, actually has been a great little, you know, kind of jig for then drilling the holes for fitting the bridge pieces. But there's one bit that didn't go quite as well. As far as using the laser engraver to kind of just burn down that little bit to actually fit in there, that worked really well on the Wenger and on the Purple Heart, but it didn't work so well here on this spalted maple. Now, if you're not used to it, actually a spalted wood gets all of these colours and stuff because of a process that happens when either a tree has died or is stressed. And actually it's partly an arrested process of decay is what we're kind of seeing here. Now, because of that, I hadn't really grasped how variable the kind of strength of this wood is. And when we're talking there about actually using a laser over it to actually just burn down things, really consistent here and here. But as soon as we get into these areas, actually it was both irregular and in some cases burnt really, really quite deep. So I ended up making myself up a another template for actually putting on this and actually routing just a little bit different, a little bit deeper. So rather than 1mm deep, actually these are now 3mm deep. That may work out fine. I might use, because I've got the bit that I cut out these pieces with as templates, cutting little shims would be very, very easy to do now. The other thing that I hadn't thought about when I initially did it was I did these all the way to the back, and I then routed out this piece at the back for making sure that the different pieces of the bridge all connect. Because you need to earth that when you're talking about something with passive pickups, which is what I'm planning on putting in here. If you've just got a single bridge piece and you've never actually taken a guitar apart, you're probably not aware, but there will be a piece of wire that comes up behind, underneath that, and actually earths that bridge through into the control cavity and meets all of the other kind of earth wires there. But here, because we've got 5 individual bridge pieces, I needed to put a piece in here that actually is going to electrically join those together. And I've put that deliberately over where the back screws will go, because that should make a really good solid connection. Now, obviously, if I do end up using shims to raise this, I'm going to need to use something a little thicker here. And I'm kind of expecting that to happen. I've kind of made sure I've got some brass and some wood that are the same thickness that I can use for doing that. 1.2 mil actually is what I'll use to raise this if I need to. But that's where we're at. Now, the other thing that's relevant, and the very last thing I'd done to this before this video, is actually you'll notice here that actually there's a channel that I've routed all the way around. Well, all the way around from here round to where the neck pocket starts. This is where I'm going to put some binding. I mentioned this before, but actually I'm not binding this in the traditional way. I want with this to actually have like a rounded edge to the spalted maple. So I've actually gone a teeny bit lower than that. What I've done is just make it slightly higher than this pocket here, which will be the exposed pocket where actually we are able to move the bridge pieces, this being a headless base. So this pocket is routed out so that we're able to turn those bridge piece adjusters. But because of that, actually it's quite a nice sort of levelling thing too. I've gone just slightly above that so that it doesn't get in the way when I'm actually, you know, kind of final sanding and what have you. And I'm expecting part 3 of this to actually be just me doing the binding, because for the first time for me, I'm doing binding with wood. I've got some Purple Heart to match the pieces in there that actually I'm going to use to put that strip of binding in, and particularly as we've got some quite tight curves here, I'm interested to see if that's something that with heat I can form to it, or whether that's something where I'll have to kind of cut and actually do a start and end piece too. So should be interesting, and hopefully now we're up to the point where I've covered everything up to that point. So hope you enjoyed this. See you again soon.